Don't drop that dun dun on, yeah, don't drop that dun dun on.
Hey you! Yeah you! Sorry we lied. This isn't really Miley Cyrus talking about her VMA performance. But wait! Before clicking on to the next video, you might as well make the best out of this procrastination time. Instead of watching another cat video, yeah, we know they've been a few, and continue convincing yourself that this is the last video you will watch before doing something productive, why not help us get one more view and increase our chances of getting a decent grade in this super exciting sociology project? We will only take a few minutes of your cat dancing video search time, but who knows, you might as well learn something after this, which will make the last 3 time-wasting hours accounted for. Thank you!
According to Cornell University, sociology is the study of social life, social change, and social causes and consequences of human behavior. Sounds fancy, huh? But what does this really mean? In the 16th and 17th century, when Europeans were conquering the world, they often returned home with different stories and teachings of other cultures which differentiated from their own. This led to the spread of new ideas and cultures which hinted the beginning of sociology. However, in the 18th and 19th century, sociology started surging as a science and not only an ideal. During this time, crucial inventions such as the steam engine, choo-choo, and the thermometer shifted the course of how people thought of society. With inventions like this, they regained hope of the future that awaited. During this crucial time, 6 important people helped shape what we know now as sociology. The next 6 mustached intelligent guys came up with different ideologies and views that will shape what we know as sociology today.
Auguste Comte was born January 19, 1789 in Paris, France. He grew up in the midst of the French Revolution and then the Industrial Revolution. Because in these times, Europe experienced violent conflict, alienation, confidence in beliefs, and institutions were collapsing. Comte devoted himself to creating a philosophy for a new social order. With his parents as monarchists and Roman Catholics, Comte abandoned his parents' ideas and pursued his own of republicanism-based ones. Later on, Comte befriended social theorist Henry de Saint-Simon, who believed in a utopian reform and created his ideals inspired by him. On his own, Comte produced a 6-volume work titled Course of Positive Philosophy. In it, he argued that, like the physical world, society worked under its own set of laws. With his efforts and ideas, he furthered the study of society and the development of sociology. He was the one to name the study of society as sociology and the one to break the subject into social statics, forces holding society together, and social dynamics, those driving social change. Without him, this science wouldn't have had a name and we wouldn't have had something to work on and expand. Comte died of stomach cancer in Paris on September 5, 1857.
Karl Marx was an intellectual who studied philosophy at universities in Bonn and Berlin. He was born in 1818 in Trier, Prussia. He formed a radical newspaper with revolutionary point of views, which forced him to flee to Paris in 1843. However, he didn't last long and went to London. He was friends with Frederick Engels, and together they wrote the Communist Manifesto, setting the principles on which communism was to evolve. Marx was not only an economist, but he also studied psychology, sociology, political sciences, and history. He died on March 14, 1883, from bronchitis and pleurisy. Sad. Marx believed that society's economic system strongly influences the social structure and has a lasting influence on sociology. He believed that society is divided in two, the bourgeois, that were the capitalists, and the proletariat, who were the workers. He said that this unbalance in power between social classes would lead to conflict between them. This conflict would be over when the proletariat rebel against the bourgeois. He has a significance in the field of sociology because of his emphasis on conflict between social classes as a primary cause of social change.
Herbert Spencer was born April 27, 1820, at the top of British industrialism. His book Social Statistic was published in 1851, but his influential one was Principle of Psychology, released in 1855, met with criticism. He was one of the most influential figures of sociology and psychology and was overshadowed by his controversial ideas. He actually preceded Charles Darwin's theory of evolution in his work Developmental Hypothesis in 1852, 7 years before Darwin's. Spencer was the first to popularize the term evolution. This idea led to social Darwinism. He saw evolution as a change from a homogeneous condition that was innately unstable to a heterogeneous and stable one. He emphasized the concept of differentiation, growth, integration, and adaptation. Spencer died in 1903 and is buried at the Highgate Cemetery near George Eliot and Karl Marx.
Émile Durkheim was born on April 15, 1858 in Epinal, France, and died on November 15, 1917. As a young boy, he began his education in a rabbinical school due to his Jewish backgrounds. But at an early age, he decided not to follow his family's footsteps and preferred studying religion from an agnostic standpoint, so he switched schools. Durkheim became interested in a scientific approach to society, which led him to focus his attention on ethics and eventually on sociology. In 1882, he graduated with a degree in philosophy. In 1885, he went to Germany to study sociology for 2 years. In Germany, he published numerous articles on German social science and philosophy, which gained him the recognition in France he longed for. Durkheim helped reform the French school system and introduced the study of social science in their curriculum. In 1893, he published The Division of Labor in Society, his first major work, which introduced the breakdown of the influence of social norms on individuals. In 1895, he published The Rules of Sociological Method, that stated what was sociology and how it needed to be done. In 1897, he published his third major work, Suicide, a study in sociology, exploring suicide rates among Protestants and Catholics. In 1912, he published his last major work, The Elementary Forms of the Religious Life, which analyzes religion as a social phenomenon.
Max Weber was born in Germany in 1864. He became a university professor but suffered a mental breakdown that left him unable to work for a while. He is considered the father of modern sociology. He published more than 3 books on religion in a sociological context, like The Religion of China, The Religion of India, and Ancient Judaism. He was interested in separate groups within society rather than in society as a whole. He focuses on the effect of society on the individual. He followed the principle of Verstehen, meaning that it involves an attempt to understand the meaning individuals attach to their actions. He died on June 14, 1920, due to pneumonia.
C. Wright Mills was born on August 28, 1916, in Waco, Texas, and died of a heart attack on March 20, 1962. When growing up, his family moved a lot, so he lived a relatively isolated life with no intimate relationship. At first, he attended Texas A&M University, but left after finishing his first year. He graduated from the University of Texas at Austin in 1939 and received his PhD in sociology from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1941. His major focus on his work was on the power of the elites, the declining middle class, social inequality, the importance of a historical perspective as a key part of sociological thinking, and the relationship between individuals and society.
Mill's most influential and famous work was The Sociological Imagination. According to Mills, the 3 components that form the sociological imagination are history, how a society came to be and how it is changing; biography, what king of people inhabited a particular society; and social structure, how the institutional orders in a society operate and which ones are dominant, how are they held together, etc. The person who possesses the sociological imagination is said to have the ability to look beyond their local environment and personality to the relationship between history, biography, and social structure. He also believed that one must look inside oneself to help research problems because, for example, social scientists translate private troubles to the public.
So, how does sociology differ from other social sciences? Sociology studies society in general aspects such as relationship and institutions. It is interested mainly in the present-day conflicts and their solution. Sociologists obtain their research and information through the use of questionnaires, surveys, and interviews. It studies both conscious and unconscious reactions of people in small and large groups in society. This study is different from other social sciences since it doesn't specialize in individual behavior like psychology does. Sociology doesn't necessarily follow a certain chronological order to such extent like history does, and it regards events from the present, not like anthropology, which bases itself on cultures and beliefs of the past.